There's a kind of silence that doesn't bring peace. The kind that grabs you by the chest and refuses to let go. That's what I felt the morning everything changed. I was in the kitchen, coffee in hand, just about to sit down for a quiet Saturday morning. Sunlight poured through the windows. It was calm. Still, my son, Noah, had been in the backyard flying his drone. He wasn't doing anything unusual, just hovering the little quadcopter in the air, focused like he always was. But suddenly, the silence swallowed everything. No humming propellers. No chirping. No movement. Just stillness. And I knew something was wrong. I set the mug down too hard. Coffee splashed across the counter, but I didn't stop to clean it. I sprinted out the back door. "Noah," I called, scanning the yard. "Buddy, where are you?" Nothing. Not a footstep. Not the whir of the drone. Not a rustle in the trees. Noah doesn't wander. He's autistic and nonverbal, but he's methodical. He follows routines like clockwork. There are systems he trusts, rules he observes. Which made this even more terrifying. The side gate was wide open, swinging lazily in the breeze. I bolted to the front yard, heart pounding, I scanning the street. No sign of him. I jumped in my car without a clue where to go. Panic had taken the wheel. I dialed the sheriff's non-emergency line, explained the situation, but there had been no sightings, no reports. I drove every street, scanned sidewalks, parks, his school, the corner cafe he liked with the blue tiles. Then I saw her. Evelyn. My neighbor. She stood at the edge of her pristine lawn, watering her hedges like she was posing for a catalog. Designer sunglasses, lipstick perfect, hair curled just so. I rolled down my window, barely containing the fury. "Evelyn, have you seen my son?" "Noah?" She blinked slowly. "Oh, the quiet one?" "Yeah, he walked past the mailboxes a bit ago. Did you try to stop him? Did you call me?" "I didn't want to startle him. He's your responsibility, not mine." I gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles cracked. "You knew he's autistic. You didn't think to tell me?" She shrugged. "Maybe you should keep a better eye on him." I drove away before I said something that would get me disbarred. Hours passed. I filed a missing persons report. Gave them a photo. Then my phone rang. Blocked number. "Hello. Mr. Emerson. This is Mallory with Ridgewood Youth Outreach Center. We have your son." I froze. "What?" "He was transferred here through authorized community welfare channels." "He was what?" "Transferred by who?" "Your homeowners association." 3 words changed everything. My HOA had relocated my nonverbal son without contacting me. 300 miles away. The drive to Ridgewood was a blur. I don't remember the highways, the exits. Just white-knuckling the wheel, repeating Noah's name under my breath. When I arrived, the center was spotless. Too clean. Cold. The front desk worker smiled like she had practiced it. "Pick up for Noah Emerson?" I nodded. She didn't ask for ID. Just handed me a clipboard. He'd been there 5 hours. The paperwork stopped me cold. Transferred via HOA Community Response Agent, D. Langston. Evelyn. They brought him out. No shoes. 1 sock missing. His hair flat on one side like he'd been sitting still for hours. He didn't say anything. Just walked up and rested his forehead against my chest. The ride home was silent. He stared out the window. My phone buzzed. 2 emails from the HOA. I didn't read them. I had more important reading to do. That night, with Noah asleep in his bed, I pulled out every HOA packet, charter, and community guideline we had. I combed through every page. Nowhere not once did it say they had the right to relocate a child. Not in an emergency, not ever. I emailed the HOA. Subject line, urgent, unlawful relocation of minor. No response. I emailed again. Still nothing. 3rd try. I got a reply. From Evelyn Langston. "Mr. Emerson, your concerns have been noted. The HOA acted under internal safety guidance to preserve neighborhood welfare. Your son was perceived to be unaccompanied. Action was taken accordingly." She signed it with 2 titles, HOA President and Community Safety Liaison. She wasn't just the self-appointed clipboard queen. She was the one who filed the complaint, approved the response, and orchestrated the entire relocation. No co-signatures. No board approval. Just her. She sent me a single document, a crooked PDF. A checkbox marked minor unaccompanied. Emotionally compromised. Authorized by D. Langston. Filed by D. Langston. She signed it twice. That night, I stopped being just a father. I became something more dangerous. I became a lawyer with a target. Forest Ridge HOA had a contract with a private enforcement firm, Dominion Residential Services. They were the ones who physically took Noah. Not mentioned in any welcome packet, of course. I subpoenaed them. The next morning, they called me. Judge Emerson. We weren't aware this was a legal matter. It became one the second your agents crossed state lines with my son. We were told it was pre-authorized. By who? President Langston. You have that in writing? A pause. Yes. Then you better find a lawyer. Fast. More messages came in. Parents. Neighbors. One mom said Evelyn tried to report her daughter for riding her scooter too fast. A man with Parkinson's said he'd received a behavior warning for pacing. It wasn't just us. It was a pattern. Noah's backpack had been packed by someone else. Random toothbrush, unmatched socks, and a folded form, Emergency Youth Safety Response Protocol. No date. No legal stamp. Just the HOA logo. Signed by Evelyn. Title: Acting Child Wellness Coordinator. I scoured board minutes. No mention of youth protocols. No vote. Then I found it. Hidden under Administrative Adjustments Not for Public Posting. Motion to adopt Internal Safety Acceleration Framework. Passed. Initialed by 3 board members, DL, SB, MT. A closed-door vote. No public record. I contacted the other board members. Alan Pierce responded. We never voted on that. Is that legit? I sent him the file. He called back minutes later. That's not a valid action. That's not even legal. I'll testify to that. I compared complaint logs. Language repeated. Emotionally erratic. Community disruption. Same script. Different targets. Evelyn didn't follow rules. She created them, then used them as weapons. I met with Dominion. Showed them everything. I want every instance of relocation you've performed under Forest Ridge. Names, dates, authorizations. They stalled. Voluntarily, I said, or with a subpoena. 2 days later, a drive showed up at my doorstep. 9 cases, all signed by Evelyn, all under the same bogus policy. I confronted the board. Not a request. A declaration. Evelyn didn't show. Claimed a scheduling conflict. I laid out everything. What Evelyn built wasn't policy. It was a machine. And all of you helped keep it running. The treasurer, Denise Marsh, stood. I want to make a formal statement. And the walls came down. I filed for an injunction. Not for vengeance. For protection. Then came court. Civil action. Emerson v. Forest Ridge HOA and President Evelyn Langston. Lisa Morris testified. I never approved any child relocation. Alan Pierce said that vote never happened. It was a backroom deal. A father broke down recalling how Dominion took his ADHD son from school. Dominion's lawyer said, "We were misled. Cooperation with Forest Ridge is terminated." Then came Evelyn. Her walk said confidence. Her eyes said fear. I acted in the community's best interest, she said. You acted alone, I replied. The judge agreed. He filed full transcripts. Noted possible criminal violations. Then a man in a black suit handed him an envelope. Miss Langston, the judge said, you were under investigation for actions taken in Briar Glen and Lakeview estates. A federal inquiry is underway. Evelyn froze. Outside, Noah held up a new drawing. A house. Open door. Light inside. The next day, a journalist knocked. We've received reports of unauthorized removals. You're at the center. I handed him a drive. Read it. Then call your editor. By noon, it was everywhere. Headline, HOA president accused of illegally removing children. Families came forward. From other towns. Same tactics. The Attorney General launched an inquiry. 3 HOAs flagged. 2 presidents resigned. 1 vanished. Evelyn tried one last move. Filed a complaint against me. Subject, behavior inconsistent with community harmony. I laughed. She was playing a game that no longer existed. 3 days later, the governor announced a full review of HOA powers. And Evelyn, Banned for life. Disqualified from any HOA leadership. Her name printed in caps, blacklisted. Noah still locks the door twice. Still checks behind him. But yesterday he stepped onto the porch with his drone. He flew it higher than ever before. That should be the end. But buried in Evelyn's records was a name, Glass. Not her policy. Her blueprint. A consulting firm, Pillar Point Residential Strategy. Their specialty? Teaching HOA leaders how to control communities like private empires. I gave it to the state oversight panel. They called me back. This goes deeper. 11 communities. 3 states. Maybe more. Noah walked to the mailbox alone yesterday. He came back holding a note. We remember. Thank you. A mom and daughter from Briar Glen showed up at our door. She looked familiar. You saved us, the mom said. Noah handed the girl his old drone controller. Hope cracked open. Evelyn tried to join a new HOA. They denied her. Publicly. Posted on their community board. This neighborhood does not accept predators of policy. And then the email from the state bar. We are incorporating the Emerson case into statewide training materials. Emergency custody law. HOA oversight. They're calling it the Emerson precedent. Not bad for a quiet kid and his drone. This morning, the silence felt different. Safe. Free. I watched Noah send his drone into the sky. No fear. Just freedom. My name is Judge Emerson. And if someone ever tries to write a child off again, I'll remind them what happens when the wrong people make the rules.